Have you ever felt like you missed the divine window, only to realize Spirit was not delaying you, but Spirit was calling you to move beyond the fear of being too late? Have you ever built something sacred, something real, something that took everything you had to put together, and then held it back because you were afraid you had already missed your moment? That's where this MuthaQueen Cypher episode begins. Because before the priestess arrives, before Auset speaks, before the moon, Venus, Mercury, and the signal all line up to confirm the timing, there is a moment every oracle, artist, healer, teacher, and truth teller has gotta face. The moment when doubt whispers, maybe I missed it. And then the courage built to overpower the fear forcefully answers, sing anyway. I almost didn't drop this episode at all, y'all. And what happened when I looked to the stars for confirmation is something I need every single one of you to hear, because it belongs to you just as much as it belongs to me. Look, before I get into everything, I just want to be honest with you about something, because that's what this show is. That's what MuthaQueen Cypher has always been. That's the intention, right? Real talk, real life, no spiritual performance. So here it is. I initially recorded this episode during a new moon, a moment of planting, of seed time, of asking the divine what wants to arrive. And the answer came, not in words, not in announcements from above, not in notifications on the phone or whatever, but in hooves, in doves, and little ladybugs, in the arrival of something I didn't expect, but absolutely needed. And this is a journal entry, a memoir piece. This is documentation of something that happened to me during a sacred window, and I'm simply sharing it with you now. However many days, weeks, or years after I lived it. And that timing? Well, it doesn't fully matter. The medicine doesn't expire. The signal doesn't weaken because the calendar page turned. In fact, here's what I learned. Divine timing rarely looks the way we think it should. It doesn't always land on the date we planned. Sometimes it asks you to hold something, refine it, let it breathe, and then release it when the moment is right. Therefore, I am not late, and you are not late for this episode. We are exactly on time. Now, let's begin. And clock this. Divine timing rarely looks the way we planned. The signal knows when to send itself. Your job is not to control the moment of delivery. No. Your job is to control the quality of the offering. Sing anyway. Transmit anyway. The stars have already arranged themselves to receive it. The answer arrives. Mayday, mayday. Yep, I sent that signal. And the answer did not come the way I expected. What's up, my beautiful, beloved spiritual kinfolk? Greetings, my fellow extraordinary, evolutionary revolutionaries. Welcome back to MuthaQueen Cypher. I'm IAYAALIS, your higher love doctor, the MDMO, the multi-dimensional mouth, right here in your ear once again. And love, I simply need you to stay right here with me for just a moment. Why? Well, because in episode 0, I asked you something. I said, what if your mayday, your cry for help, your signal sent, was not your lowest point, but your first transmission? I told you the signal lands, the fire is already lit. Keep in mind, your asking is your beginning. Well, Kimfolk, the answer came. Not in words, not in a notification, not in an announcement from above. She came in hooves. A female deer, a doe, galloped right into my front yard on May 11th, the day right after Mother's Day. And she didn't just pass through, y'all. She galloped right on my front lawn and then leaped, actually leaped, like she was showing off and like she freaking knew she was being watched. And then she was gone. And then the mourning doves moved in. I'm talking about a whole family of these softly cooing birds. They just randomly decided to take up residence in the yard like they had always lived there. But no, that's not all. That ain't it. Fam, Sunday morning on this new moon energy in Taurus, ladybugs on the porch, plural. And you know me, being a daughter of Oshun, I was thrilled to see a bunch of my little totems. So to break it down a bit for you, love, my family and I recently moved, and we live in a hickory grove now. See, Spirit literally woke me up at 4 in the morning and said, search online for listings. And thankfully, I did. And now I often find myself peacefully sitting on a porch in Smyrna, Tennessee, surrounded by nature that is talking to me constantly. And here's what I know as a Kemetic shaman. None of that is coincidence. In Kemet, which again is what the world now calls ancient Egypt, nature was never separate from the divine. Every creature was a living transmission from the Neteru, the universal life principles that govern all of creation. The Kemetic people watched the natural world the way we watch the screens on our phones, because that was where the messages lived. So when I say the answer came in hooves, I mean it, literally. That is the signal answering back. Know this, when you send a mayday, don't just watch the sky, watch the ground as well. Watch what walks into your yard. The answer often comes on 4 legs, on wings, in the crawl of a ladybug on your porch. Source speaks in nature because nature never lies. She always thrives. Segment 1, The Priestess Arrives. So let me tell y'all what the divination said was coming after the May cast I shared in episode 0. The next tarot card that presented itself was the High Priestess, upright. Now, before I tell you what this card means in the tarot, I need to take you somewhere first. Because as a Kemetic High Priestess, I cannot talk about the High Priestess card without going back to where she actually comes from. She comes from Kemet. Her name is Auset. The present-day world knows her as Isis, but her Kemetic name, Auset, means throne. She is the throne upon which all sacred power rests. Auset is the original High Priestess of the ancient world. She was the keeper of sacred mystery, the mistress of magic, and closely connected to what the Kemetic people called Heka, the divine creative force of spoken and written words. She was the one who gathered the scattered pieces of Asar, aka Osiris, and breathed life back into what the world said was dead. She crossed between the worlds. She held the veil between the seen and the unseen. She truly knew things that were not meant to be spoken plainly. She was also the ultimate embodiment of the divine feminine, a mother, a healer, a sorceress, a sage. She did not ask permission for any of it. She simply was it. Now, when the tarot was later developed, the High Priestess card carried her energy forward. The woman seated between two pillars, one light and one dark, with a veil behind her hiding what has not yet been revealed. That is Auset. That veil is hers. That mystery is hers. Therefore, when this card arrived in my shamanic intuitive reading, I did not just see a tarot card. I saw a universal life principle sending a message. Mayday was the cry. Auset, the priestess, is the answer. Mayday was the outer broadcast. The priestess is the inner reception. Mayday said, "I need something real." The priestess says, "Come within. It's already here." She doesn't shout. She doesn't perform. She doesn't announce. She simply sits in the stillness and holds the knowing until you are ready to receive it. And love, here's where I turn the mic toward you, because this is not just my card for the season. I believe this is a collective invitation right now. There are things in your life that you already know. Things your gut has been whispering. Things your body has been signaling. Things you have been too busy, too loud, too afraid to get still enough to hear. Auset, the priestess, is asking you to stop performing and start listening. Not to the noise outside, to the hum inside, to the signal that has been broadcasting inside you the whole freaking time. And here is your first meditative prompt for this episode. Close your eyes if you can. Take a breath. And ask yourself, what is the thing I already know? The thing my body has been saying. The thing that keeps surfacing at quiet moments that I have been too afraid or too busy to fully receive. Don't try to fix it. Don't analyze it. Just let it surface. The priestess is not asking you to act right now. She is just asking you to finally acknowledge what you already know. Note this. Auset, the original keeper of sacred mystery, the one whose very name means throne, does not shout. She waits. And she only reveals her wisdom to those willing to get quiet enough to receive it? What are you filling the silence with that might be drowning out what you most need to hear? The priestess arrived through a card, but Auset didn't stop there. She sent a confirmation in hooves right through the front yard. In part 2, what the dough brought. Again, y'all, welcome to MuthaQueen Cypher. I'm IAYAALIS, your higher love doctor, the MDMO, the multi-dimensional mouth, the Mother Queen. And Asheo, the signal is still broadcasting. In love we thrive, live love, love life, eternal supernal, IAYAALIS. You are supernal, heavenly, celestial, divine.
It's the Mother Queen, now me, dangerous nothing. I am that I am, you I love, is and out, below and above. I-Ching reading, guidance for my seeding. You can cast a coin, but seeing is believing.